Have you heard of the 10,000 hour practice rule to achieve subject mastery? Author and journalist Malcolm Gladwell, looking at different musicians and how long it took them on average to learn their instrument to mastery. Did a study on musicians and found that they spent on average around 10,000 hours of practice. When I first heard of it, I had thoughts like,
it's going to take me forever to be able to learn art, to be able to sell professionally. How am I ever going to do this? I should have been doing this a long time ago.
But the truth is that everybody's different in how long it takes them. There's a lot of factors that need to go in that, and that's just an average. Here's 5 ways you can make art and work toward your goal of professional art making at the same time. Be sure to watch till the end so you don't miss key information as we go through the 5 steps. Hi, welcome to Brittany Henderson Creative Arts. Thank you so much for being here. I'm excited to announce this as my first video. Today's topic seems appropriate for our first video because I had to overcome what we're about to discuss in order to get this video out into the world. I'm an adult learner who works, has grown-up responsibilities, and dares to dream about how nice it would be to make art professionally. Remember what I mentioned though about how you can work towards your professional goals as a beginner? Here's 5 ways I'm doing that. Not comparing my art journey to other people's journey. Just because someone waited 10 years to take their art professional, or the average number to mastery is 10,000 hours, doesn't mean it will be that for you, or that you can't find ways to start building your artist brand. I started learning art not long after I started playing violin, and art comes much more naturally to me than playing violin. We all learn differently and at different paces. It's not like any amount of hours is going to make you a complete master at it. Shorter, targeted practice sessions, focusing on different skills will likely get you further quicker than just drawing for the sake of drawing. As for waiting X number of years to sell art, you'll find people that will say you should wait to sell art or that you only know if you try. I'm not selling art professionally yet, but I'm content with some of my original art that I've decided to get together a handful of them to try out on an online commerce store in the foreseeable future. They may or may not sell, but if they don't, I know that doesn't necessarily mean my skills aren't good enough. It could also be that my art isn't selling for a multitude of reasons unrelated to how good my art is or isn't. My goal is to keep practicing and marketing my art. Even once you achieve mastery, you'll likely receive some amount of negative feedback, and it will likely take a lot of patience before you find the people that your art resonates with. If you feel you're the kind of person that would get too discouraged if people don't buy your art or they offer negative feedback or even no feedback, it takes time to find an audience who cares about your work, regardless of how good your art is. That leads me to my second way I work toward professional goals as a beginner, sharing my work on other platforms. Success isn't about how others see my artwork on social platforms. I find making art videos holds me accountable to practice more art. I can also share what I'm learning as I navigate the art world. The good thing about art is I'm not sharing medical advice or some other critical topic. I can simply share my journey and not worry about perfection. Rather than wait for perfection, I realize that my way of drawing a subject or what I'm experiencing learning art is never going to be the exact same as someone else, and that alone is more than enough to make my art journey shareable. Being able to share my art toward building a community and reevaluating when I want to try my hand at selling art helps me know I can be productive and take steps toward my professional art goals without dwelling on the 10,000 hour of practice rule too much. Being an adult learner, I do think it's understandable to want to get started in some way if your goal is to make art professionally. Learning art fundamentals will set you up for better success both professionally and artistically. But you don't have to be perfect to be an artist. I'm finding sharing my art on a schedule is helping me deal with my perfectionistic tendencies. Reminding myself art is subjective. Remember I mentioned earlier, not everyone will like your art. Everyone's taste is different. Some of the most successful artists aren't necessarily the best or most skilled. They receive negative feedback or silence to their art and do what they feel hardwired to do, which is to continue doing what they love. So try and have fun with it. I don't have to attend art school to be a real artist. I didn't go to art school. My degrees are in a totally different field. It's easy to get into the comparison game thinking others of similar skill will always be one step more authentic because they have skill to go with an art degree. If you have the time, money, and desire to get an art degree, that's well and good. But don't let deciding to get an art degree make you feel less worthy to call yourself an artist. There is a plethora of information at your fingertips to learn from. I learn by watching and reading real art teachers' lessons. With the advent of technology, I would argue that you can learn just as much about art and get just as good this way. The main ingredient is consistency. Which brings me to my fifth and final point. I can call myself an artist. I can call myself an artist before I get to 10,000 hours of practice. Sharing my art with you all on other platforms does make self-doubt creep in. The who am I to be sharing my art thoughts kick in. I see all these amazing artists and get discouraged. It's somewhat similar to imposter syndrome. Even people who make a living at art are not immune to these feelings. Lately, I've been noticing that there are several artists at all phases in their artistic journey who tend to feel this way, so you're in good company. You don't have to have a certain amount of skill or make money at it to be an artist. If you find even one of these tips inspiring, I've done my job. Here's a quick recap of the 5 ways you can work toward your professional goals as a beginner. Not comparing my art journey to other people's journey, sharing my work on other platforms, reminding myself art is subjective. I don't have to attend art school to be a real artist. I can call myself an artist. If you watched all the way to the end, thank you so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell down below so you'll receive frequent videos related to my art journey. It helps my channel out a lot. Join me next time for 5 tips for improving art as a beginner. I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Bye for now.